Monday is here, and my notebook is overflowing. I'm Cricket, and today we are breaking down a massive post-Royal Rumble edition of Friday Night SmackDown. We saw tempers flare right out of the gate, championships on the line, and the first tickets punched for the Elimination Chamber. It's the road to WrestleMania, and the stakes just got personal. Let's get into the results.
Welcome to the deep dive. It is February 7th, 2026. And if you're listening to this, you can probably you can feel that shift in the air.
Oh, yeah.
We are officially on the road to WrestleMania 42.
It's finally here. The most stressful, exciting, and just, narrative-heavy time of the entire year.
Absolutely. And usually when we talk about this time of year, we're talking about champions, we're talking about challengers, who wants the gold the most.
The usual stuff.
But we have the Sock Sorority breakdown from February 9 in front of us. It's covering the week that just wrapped up. And the vibe feels, I don't know, it feels different.
It does.
It's not just about winning championships. It feels heavier.
That's the key observation here. If you look at the breakdown of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, the driving force isn't glory or legacy right now. It's hostility.
Hostility. That's a good word for it.
We're seeing this shift away from competitive storytelling to something much more personal and, frankly, a bit unhinged.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack why these specific narrative choices are happening now. We're not just going to list who won what match.
No, that's the box score.
We need to figure out the psychology behind all the madness, because the source material is painting a picture of a wrestling landscape that is, well, it's teetering on the edge of a nervous breakdown.
Which is exactly where you want to be before WrestleMania.
So we've got three big pillars to cover. First, the crystallization of the main event picture on Raw, which is built on some really serious bad blood. Second, a massive regime change in NXT that is turning the brand into a literal Wild West.
We have to talk about that.
And third, the psychological warfare on SmackDown, specifically involving Cody Rhodes and a very specific persona shift.
And we definitely need to define what that persona shift means, because Raheem is doing a lot of heavy lifting in the current storyline.
Oh, we are absolutely going to unpack Raheem. But let's start at the top. Monday Night Raw, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
The decision is made.
It is. Roman Reigns has officially chosen his opponent for WrestleMania 42. He is going with CM Punk.
Not a huge surprise, but the reasoning.
The reasoning. Usually you pick the guy you think you can beat, or the guy who earns it. But Roman's reasoning here, well, let's just say it was not about sportsmanship.
No, and this is where the breakdown highlights a really fascinating risk in the booking. Roman explicitly stated he chose Punk because he hates him so much.
Hates him so much.
I mean, think about the implication of that. Usually the WWE Championship is the prize. The belt is the most important thing in the room.
That's the whole point.
Right. By framing the choice around hate, Roman is essentially saying that hurting CM Punk is more important than the prestige of defending the title.
That's a good point. It devalues the sporting aspect to elevate the crime scene aspect.
Precisely. It turns the WrestleMania main event from a wrestling match into a grudge match. The source material notes this just removes the honorable competitor dynamic entirely. Roman isn't trying to out-wrestle Punk. He wants to end him. It sets a tone for the next 2 months that's going to be gritty, uncomfortable, and deeply personal.
So it's not, may the best man win.
No, it's may the other guy not walk out.
And that theme of brutality wasn't just in the main event picture. We saw it in the women's world title match, too. A Philadelphia street fight between Stephanie Vacher and Raquel Rodriguez.
This was not a technical showcase. The breakdown describes it as brutal and, fittingly so.
Vacher retained, which establishes her dominance.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me, or maybe confusing is the right word, the aftermath.
The Liv Morgan factor.
So the match ends, Vacher wins, and then Liv Morgan, who's been playing this whole sisterhood angle with Raquel Rodriguez, she jumps in and hits Vacher with Oblivion.
Right, after the bell.
On the surface, it looks like she's defending her friend after a tough loss. But is that what's actually happening here?
I don't think so, and the analysis supports a much more cynical view. Look, if Liv was just being a good friend, she would have helped Raquel during the match.
Good point.
Hitting the move after the bell when the title is already secured by Vacher serves only one person. Liv Morgan.
Because it keeps her in the spotlight.
It's more than that. It's about keeping the waters muddy. We'll talk about her logjam strategy later, but this attack was a reminder to the champion that Liv is the threat, not Raquel.
Wow.
She's using Raquel's body as a shield and Raquel's matches as a platform. It's predatory.
It's totally selfish. And speaking of people losing control or maybe just losing their minds, Raw also had Braun Breaker just destroying an announce desk and demanding Adam Pearce.
And Paul Heyman's interference completely backfiring, costing Bronson Reed his match.
It just feels like the authority figures on Raw are just putting out fires, doesn't it?
They're losing their grip. When you have Braun Breaker rampaging and wise men like Heyman failing to execute basic strategies, it shows a breakdown in the hierarchy.
For sure.
But if you think Adam Pearce is having a hard time on Raw, what happened on NXT makes Raw look like a choir practice.
Oh, man. Tuesday night,
Yeah.
This is the biggest shakeup of the week.
By far, no question.
So, Shawn Michaels' HBK comes out and drops a bomb.
Yeah.
Is out. The new interim general manager is Robert Stone.
The Robert Stone brand is now the NXT brand.
And Stone didn't waste any time. He declared the locker room the Wild West. Now, I have to ask you, why? Why would Shawn Michaels, the head of creative, want his show to be the Wild West? That sounds counterproductive.
It sounds chaotic, but, think about it from a developmental standpoint. NXT is where you forge future stars.
Okay.
If the environment is safe and structured, you don't really know who can handle the pressure of, say, a WrestleMania.
So it's a stress test.
Exactly. The source material emphasizes that Stone wants unpredictability. By removing the guardrails, he's forcing the talent to sink or swim.
I see.
If you can survive the Wild West, you can survive the main roster. He's essentially institutionalizing chaos to see who is ruthless enough to rise to the top.
And we saw who rose to the top immediately. That 7-man ladder match for the vacant NXT championship.
Which is the perfect match type for this new era, right? No DQs, weapons everywhere, complete anarchy.
The breakdown mentions Keanu Carver looked unstoppable early on.
He was the physical force. But in a ladder match, and especially in this new Robert Stone era, being the strongest isn't enough.
No.
You have to be the smartest or, the most opportunistic.
Which brings us to the finish. A tug of war at the very top of the ladder. Ricky Saints versus Joe Hendry. Now, Joe Hendry is supposed to be the good guy, right? The fan favorite.
Usually, yes. But look at how he won.
He shoved Saints off the ladder.
And not just a little shove. He sent him crashing down to win the title. And then he had the audacity to attribute the win to the power of faith.
Even though he came into the match injured from the Vanity Project the week before.
That's the nuance the source picks up on. Even the hero, Joe Hendry, had to embrace that ruthless, Wild West mentality to win.
Yeah, you're right.
He didn't win by out-wrestling Saints. He won by removing him from the equation. It fits perfectly with Stone's new philosophy.
It really does. And we saw that same ruthlessness in the women's North American title match. Izzy Dame retained. But the story was the interference.
Lonnie Jordan.
Kalani Jordan attacking Lola Vice. And this wasn't just a distraction. She targeted Lola's hand with a ladder.
That is a very specific tactical choice. Lola Vice is a striker. Her hands are her weapons. By crushing the hand, Kalani didn't just hurt her, she disarmed her.
It let Izzy Dame pin Thea Hale, but that image of Kalani, who we usually see as this athletic, high-flying babyface using a ladder to crush a hand, that's dark.
It's the environment. The Wild West encourages this. If there are no consequences for brutality, then brutality becomes the most effective strategy.
Okay, before we move off NXT, we have to talk about the return. Tony D'Angelo is back at dawn, and he's rebranded. The source calls it a 90s action movie theme. He's calling himself a selfish warrior now.
And that shift is crucial. Tony D used to be the boss. He looked out for the family. He was a provider. No, he's explicitly saying he is selfish. He's not there to lead. He's there to punish the dark state.
But he dropped a teaser that I can't stop thinking about. He said he's back for revenge, but he also mentioned a second reason.
The mystery variable.
What do you think that is?
Yeah.
The source leaves it as a complete cliffhanger.
Well, if he's a selfish warrior now, that second reason has to be something that benefits him personally. It's not about family honor anymore.
Sort of not the family.
No. Is it a specific title? Is it a payout? Or maybe, is there someone else he's targeting that we haven't realized yet? In this new era of NXT, keeping your cards close to your vest is the only way to survive.
That is going to be the thread to pull on for the next few weeks. Okay, let's head to Friday night, SmackDown, and this is the segment I've been waiting to get to.
The transformation of Cody Rhodes.
The source calls it the must-talk moment of the week. Cody's leaning into what they call Raheem energy. Now, for listeners who might not be terminally online like we are, can we define Raheem? What are we actually talking about here?
Right. So Raheem is basically internet shorthand for a very specific version of Cody Rhodes. You know how usually Cody is the American nightmare? He wears the suit, he uses big words, he kisses babies, he's the polite politician.
The guy who wants to be a role model.
Exactly. Raheem is what happens when he drops all of that. Raheem is hoodie-wearing, foul-mouthed, I'm going to beat you up in the parking lot, Cody.
Okay.
It's the version of him that isn't trying to save the company, he's just trying to hurt you.
And according to the breakdown, that is exactly who showed up on SmackDown.
He has completely dropped the polite hero act, and the analysis suggests this is, well, it's necessary. He's up against Drew McIntyre.
You can't out-polite a guy like that.
Exactly. You can't out-politician a guy who just wants to, tear your head off. You have to get down in the mud with him.
And it's working. This is the crazy part. Cody's psychological game is actually rattling Drew.
It's flipping the script. Usually Drew is the intimidator, but look at the visuals from Friday. You have Cody standing tall, looking dangerous, and you have Drew McIntyre, a giant of a man, running through the crowd to get away from him.
The source calls him the cowardly champion.
They actually call him the asswipe champion, but cowardly works too.
I was trying to keep it family friendly, but yeah, Drew running through the crowd. That is such a powerful image.
And hiding in Nick Aldis's office. That's the key detail. He's not just retreating. He's looking for authority to protect him. He's complaining like, as the source puts it, a bitch. This completely destroys Drew's aura of invincibility. It shows that Raheem Cody is already living rent-free in his head.
And speaking of Nick Aldis, he must be at his wit's end.
Oh, absolutely. The general manager is at his breaking point. He has a champion who is paranoid and hiding in his office, and a challenger who has gone rogue. It's a powder keg.
It feels like everyone on SmackDown is choosing violence. We have to mention Trick Williams.
The Death Wish Tour.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
In one night, Trick insulted Sami Zayn, provoked Rey Fenix, and then got told to get stuffed by the undisputed champion.
What is he doing?
Is he trying to get fired or just killed?
It's hubris. Trick is riding high, but he's confusing confidence with invincibility. Insulting Rey Fenix is a very specific kind of stupid.
Right.
Fenix isn't a guy who cuts promos. He's a guy who does things in the ring that defy physics.
And the breakdown notes that Trick has a match with Fenix next week.
They describe it as the find-out portion of his mess-around phase, and that's a perfect way to put it.
It really is.
Trick has been writing checks with his mouth all night, and next week, Rey Fenix is coming to collect the debt.
So we've looked at the brands individually. But there is one strategist who is actually affecting both Raw and SmackDown without really wrestling. We touched on her earlier, Liv Morgan.
The mastermind.
The source says she is playing chess versus checkers. We know she has this title shot, but explain the logjam concept to me. How is she actually freezing things up?
So usually a challenger picks a lane. I'm challenging the Raw champion, or I'm challenging the SmackDown champion.
Standard stuff.
Right. Once they do that, the general managers can book other contenders for the other belt.
Right.
By refusing to pick, Liv is holding both belts hostage. Adam Pearce on Raw can't promise a title shot to anyone else because Liv might show up. Nick Aldis on SmackDown is in the exact same boat.
Wow.
She has effectively frozen the main event scene of the women's division on both shows just by doing nothing.
That is devious.
It's bureaucratic terrorism. She's creating anxiety for the champions and administrative nightmares for the GMs. And she's doing it all while faking this friendship with Raquel.
The sisterhood.
It's a total fabrication. The source is clear. She's a ticking time bomb. She's using Raquel to do her dirty work, keeping her close so she doesn't have to fight her, all while she waits for the perfect moment to strike for herself.
So she creates the logjam, frustrates the management, uses her friend as a bodyguard, and just waits.
It's the smartest booking on the show right now. While everyone else is fighting in street fights or jumping off ladders, Liv is winning the war in the conference room.
So let's pull this all together. We've got Roman fueled by pure hate. We have NXT descending into the Wild West under Robert Stone. We've got Cody Rhodes becoming Raheem to hunt down a cowardly Drew McIntyre. And we've got Liv Morgan paralyzing the whole system.
If you look at the common thread, it's that the nice guys are extinct.
Yeah, you're right.
To get ahead on the road to WrestleMania 42, you have to adapt. Cody had to stop being polite. Tony D had to become selfish. Joe Hendry had to play dirty.
And the people who tried to play by the rules, like Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis, they're the ones losing their minds.
Exactly. The lesson this week is that structure is crumbling. If you want to win at WrestleMania, you can't rely on the rules protecting you. You have to be the one willing to break them.
It's a terrifying thought for the wrestlers, but man, does it make for good TV.
The best.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one question to chew on. We talked about Tony D'Angelo and his second reason.
The cliffhanger.
Everyone is focused on the dark state. But if the Don has a secondary target, and he's keeping it this quiet,
It usually means it's someone close or someone very, very high up.
keep your eyes on the Don, folks. And keep your eyes on Liv Morgan. The chess pieces are moving, and I have a feeling the board is about to get flipped over. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
See you next time.
That's going to do it for today's deep dive into my SmackDown notebook. We've seen the road to WrestleMania get a lot more crowded this week, and the tension is only going up from here. But don't go too far. Make sure you're right back here on Tuesday. I'll be dropping a special highlights episode where we'll wrap up the entire week in the ring. We're talking the best of Raw, the chaos of NXT, and a final look at SmackDown. Until then, keep your coffee hot and your eyes on the ring. I'm Cricket, and I'll talk to you Tuesday.